present For the Record with Neil Heinen.
130 years of community impact. Madison's Attic Angel community is next on For the Record. Thanks for joining us. I'm Neil Heinen. In the 163-year history of the city of Madison, few civic institutions have influenced the greater good more than Attic Angel community. As one of, but not the only, examples of leadership and impact of women on civic life in Madison, Attic Angel has made contributions to healthcare, child well-being, senior living, and more, very much felt today. Simply put, Attic Angel identifies community needs and meets those needs. A 2019 example is the playing field, and you'll learn more about that and the growth of Attic Angel community as I welcome to For the Record President and CEO Mary Ann Drescher, Board Chair Amy Nickles, and the Executive Director of the Playing Field, Abbi Kruse. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you.
So, Attic Angel, I think anyone who lives in Madison for any length of time has heard of Attic Angel, knows of Attic Angel community. And yet, I don't know how many of them could identify its origins and sort of the impact that it's made. Mary Ann, maybe you could just give us a little bit of history.
I would be glad to. So, 1889, the Bryant sisters, Mary and Alva, they heard of a family that had given birth to twins, I believe, and that the family did not have the resources to really clothe them. So they thought, somebody ought to do something about this. Yeah. We're somebody, let's do something. Yeah. So they got together with some of their friends, and on a weekly basis, they would start sewing clothing. And as they were delivering it, they found, of course, other families and other needs. And so they kept on meeting and trying to marshal the resources together. And the story goes that, even though they were very good with their needles, that they weren't able to keep up with the demand. So then they started scouring through their basements and their attics. And one day, as they came down the stairs with their arms full of items, their father, General Bryant, looks up and said, "Oh, here comes my Attic Angels." Yeah. And they thought, that's a good name. Let's stick with it.
Yeah. One of the things, it's still relevant today, obviously, but I love the fact that 1889 women in Madison were they had a prominent role that didn't exist in some other communities. Mm-hmm. And you see the influence, throughout civic contributions during that time. But it was just it was a place where Attic Angels, I think, felt comfortable.
Yes.
With women's roles at the time.
And in fact, when there was not a hospital in the city of Madison at that time, so the Angels heard that the city was looking at building a hospital, and they said, well, let's do some fundraising for that. And our archives, which are just wonderful, say that the Angels actually went door to door to raise awareness of the need and to raise the funds. And so they gave $1,000 in 1889. That was worth a lot of money. I think you could build a hospital for $14,000 at that point. So.
Yeah. Amy, how long have you been chair of the board?
Very well, like 2 months.
Okay. Welcome.
I'm still very new at it.
Yeah. Yeah, and your family has some history with that.
Yes, my mother-in-law, in fact, her picture is up right now. Yeah. She was the one in the fur coat. She was the Attic Angel president in '62, '64, when they were just looking at the Seago Tower. And she was very responsible for that, as well as digging the first hole for our present place.
The remarkable community that has grown over the last several years.
Yeah.
Was the hospital, Mary Ann, like the first big next step after knitting for the kids? Because then the visiting nurse service came along there too.
Correct. They found that a number of people couldn't go to the hospitals and that people needed someone to come to them. So again, they did their research. They found a visiting nurse program. I think we're the second oldest in the state, and hired the visiting nurse. She at first rode her bike from appointment to appointment and used electric streetcars, and then we bought an automobile for her. So we operated that program for 45 years, and then it became Home Health United, and now SSM Home.
Yeah. Is Attic Angel considered a membership organization? Do you have members?
It is, yes. We have about 500 members. And it's a sponsored membership because we're bringing people into our residents' homes. So we're pretty protective about our residents.
Sure.
So we want somebody that's going to say, this is somebody I know, they're good quality, good character, they're dedicated, they have the vibrancy to bring life into the community. And so that's what what the process is.
And how do you keep it so relevant today? I mean, in a lot of ways, Attic Angel feels like a modern civic organization.
I know a lot of times when people hear that we're 130 years old, they think, oh, okay, they got good stability, but probably pretty set in their ways. And nothing could be further from the truth. The way that you survive for 130 years is to continue to reinvent yourself. You start out with children, and then that morphs into the visiting nurse program, which morphed into well child clinics, which then seniors need some help. We should take care of both ends of our aging spectrum. So to continually reinvent yourself is something that's really a hallmark of the organization.
Let's bring the playing field in here, because I think it's such an interesting example of meeting community needs. So am I right, this is an annual sort of assessment of what the community needs?
Correct. On an annual basis, the board gets input from the community as far as what are the greatest needs out there. And this year, our annual focus actually was, or is, to support families of children ages 0 to 13 who are experiencing stress or trauma or mental health issues. And we found, I think this is through United Way, that there's 1 in 5 children in our community are affected in some way by mental health issues. So as we were thinking about this celebration of our anniversary, it made perfect sense to find an organization that also served children with those behavioral issues and so on, but also the celebration of the Life as a Playground event is what got born, and so we were able to select the playing field as the beneficiary.
So is this a membership-driven identification of need, or does the board play a role in this? How does the process go?
Well, the board is made up of the members, so both members and the boards,
Just robust discussion about what is Madison today and what are the needs today and who might we help with that. Do you accept applications for that sort of support?
We do, and on our website, atticangel.org, there's an opportunity for community grants, and we indicate what our annual focus is, and then we have the forms that people can fill out. We ask for applications by October 1st, and then there's a committee, and they don't just look at the applications, they go out and do a personal interview with each of the agencies, and that's the same process that we used for the playing field, which then you get the real feel for that organization.
Well, let's take our first break, and then when we come back, Abby, I'll ask you to explain what the playing field is and the kind of work that you do, and we're going to do that right after this.
For the Record, sponsored by MG&E, your community energy company.
Hi everyone, we're learning how to better protect our older family members when it comes to poverty, and Hattie's back talking about a cooler and drier forecast to start off the work week after a long holiday weekend. We'll see you Monday morning from 4:30 to 7.
This is a grim reminder of what can happen when natural gas lines are breached. How common have these gas line ruptures become? And what has changed since the deadly Sun Prairie explosion? News 3 Now investigates Monday at 10.
Have a great night and do something good. I started saying it because I was just so tired of all the bad news in the world. People are out there doing great things. I've experienced it, and believe me, it can change your day. Tell us about the good you see. Go to Channel 3000 or post it using the hashtag #DoSomethingGood.
I'll share your stories on News 3 Now.
Our community is full of wonderful, giving people. Let's celebrate them together. Let's do something good.
Got a quarter?
Good night, stars. Good night, air. Good night, noises everywhere. Time to say good night.
It is Attic Angel Community's 130th birthday. There's a big celebration coming up. There's a new book out we're going to talk about. And I am with Mary Ann Drescher, who is the president and CEO of Attic Angel Community. Amy Nickles, who is the chair of the board for all of 2 months now. How long is your term? Is it
for 1 year.
1 year? That'll be exciting. And Abbi Kruse, who's the executive director of the Playing Field. And the Playing Field is the recipient of this year's resource allocation from Attic Angel Community. Explain what the Playing Field is, Abbi.
So the Playing Field is an early childhood program, and our model is unique in that we believe that children should be educated in the context of our community rather than in groups that are separated by what their families can afford to pay. So a third of our families pay full tuition like they would at any other high-quality program. A third of our families receive some kind of scholarship assistance, and a third of our families are funded by an early Head Start grant that focuses and prioritizes on children that are experiencing homelessness. So we bring children from all over the city. They need a bath, they need their clothes washed. We take care of those needs. We just want to make sure that we can meet the needs of all children in our space every day.
Wait, did this model start here, or it was created here in Madison?
Yeah, we opened in 2015.
Okay.
Madison's best kept secret.
Yeah, I had not heard of it until the connection with Attic Angel.
Yeah, so we're on Madison's west side. We're actually exploring the possibility of an east side location as well in 2020. And we kind of were born out of the UW preschool lab.
Okay.
Made the decision to close. And we took over that space with this opportunity to partner with Reach Dane and Early Head Start.
So you're over in the Research Park area?
We're on Mineral Point.
Across the street from the...
We went from Bethany United Methodist Church.
Oh, okay.
And the preschool lab had been there for 18 years.
Okay,
For us.
okay. And how many people do you serve? How many kids, families do you serve?
We're licensed for 52 children. Right now we have 5 classrooms operational. We closed 1 classroom this year to create a care room, which is a connection and recovery environment, and the purpose of that room is to help children regulate when they have behaviors that are too big to be safe in the regular classroom. So a place where they can go to be safe, the teachers can be safe, and so that cost us 8 enrollment spots, but we did it because we knew if we didn't have that space, we were going to have to admit there were children that we couldn't serve, and we didn't want to be part of the preschool expulsion problem.
Do you have a waiting list to participate, I'm sure?
We do.
Yeah,
our
sadly.
wait list is full through September of 2020 at this point, so that's why we're looking for additional space, and we're also looking for additional space because our bus route's really long. We travel the entire city limits every day, pick up children from their homes, shelters, hotels. We've picked up children that have slept in their cars.
It must be tough, Abbi, the balance between offering some sort of formalized programs, I assume, but then needing to be flexible enough to meet the individual needs of a child every day when you don't know where they're coming from.
Yeah, so our model, one of the questions I had is if it could really be done, even though in theory I knew that it should be done. I didn't know if it actually could be done, and our model is really built on a book by Dr. Becky Bailey called Creating the School Family that says in a healthy school family, every child can have their needs met, even if those needs are very different. And so that was really foundational to us when we started.
So what are you hoping to offer to the Playing Field, Mary Ann?
Well, we're doing a fundraising for the Playing Field throughout this year.
Okay.
So
that's a year-long campaign?
Right.
Okay.
So throughout the 2019 year. And the big celebration will be culmination in July 28th. We'll have our Life is a Playground event. And, we believe that people don't stop playing because they get old. They get old because they stop playing. So let's keep that going. And we have around our campus, I think 15 different venues of things that we can do. So there's remote control boat races and face painting. The UW band is going to be there at 1:15. We'll have 3 different magic shows, so it's time specific. We'll have hula hoop and chalk and virtual reality and just a number of different things to enjoy and play, and it'll be a very intergenerational. We kind of look at this as a community building event to celebrate the community that we help to build.
Yeah. And is that the primary fundraiser for the Playing Field, or do monies from other things that Attic Angel does throughout the year go towards that?
Yeah, this will be the primary fundraiser for it, yes.
The reason I ask is there's a woman in the neighborhood who comes back from her cottage every year to work on the
attic sale.
Of course. I mean, and she's not the only one, but
yes, yes.
I mean,
our 3 sales, signature sales, are just wonderful for the community too. So actually a classic clothing sale is coming up September 27th, 28th.
I mean, and those things have just continued to grow over the years, right? I should get to one of them because it sounds
You've
just...
never
No,
been?
I know. And the attic sale sounds just incredible.
Yes, thousands and thousands of items, and to be able to save and clean and price year-round, collect, and then within a day,
yes,
deliver everything, set it up, and it looks like a 5-star department store.
So were you part of the vetting process for the playing field?
I was there initially, but we had a whole group of people, of committee that actually went to all of the various possibilities and decided that playing field was by far the best place.
And what kind of impacts did you see?
What I think I came away with was, I think, your mantra, which is every type of behavior is just a form of communication. So there's never any, you shouldn't do this, or, you know, stop that, or whatever. It's always, what are you trying to tell me? What is it that you need? And that just impressed me so much.
You know, it brings to mind, Mary Ann, that the quote in the book that you see these kids in our community today, and there are unfortunately so many of them, and think, you know, somebody should do something about that, right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Abby's doing it.
Yeah, and
we're helping.
Attic Angels is helping with it.
Yeah,
that's the hope. There's other growth going on with Attic Angels. I think I'd like to take the last commercial break now. We'll talk about what the future looks like for Attic Angel community when we come back right after this.
Hi there. If you're watching this channel using an antenna, listen carefully. There's a day coming when you'll need to rescan your television to continue receiving this signal. Let's call it Rescan Day. Not a very original name, but it's accurate. Now, the reasons for this are a little complicated, but the solution is simple. When this Rescan Day rolls around, just follow this 3-step procedure. 1. Find the remote control for your TV or converter box, then press Menu. 2. Select Setup on the menu. And number 3, choose Antenna, then Channel Scan or Auto Tune, and your work is done. Your TV will automatically rescan the available signals so all your channels, including this one, tune in again right as rain. Now, here's the date and time to mark on your calendar when you're making your plan to rescan, so you can keep watching this channel, same as always. Other local channels may have different rescan days, so if you have any questions, just go to tvanswers.org. And remember, plan to rescan. Thank you, and good day.
On the next Live Before, we'll meet our Pet of the Week from the Dane County Humane Society.
And film critic Will Loper will be in to tell us what he thinks of the new movie Spider-Man: Far From Home.
When front yards become front lines, at the crossroads of conflict and epidemic, where there are no hospitals, that's where we operate. Right now, Doctors Without Borders medical teams are operating in some of the most remote and dangerous corners of the world. Your response is critical to our response in places where few others will go. That's where we operate. Doctors Without Borders.
I am a veteran. I spent 2 years alone and homeless.
As America's veterans face challenges, DAV is there.
My victory was finding the support to get back on my feet.
DAV helps veterans of every generation get the benefits they've earned.
I'm a veteran. When I got out, I felt like nowhere was safe.
So veterans can reach victories, great and small.
My victory was finding the help I needed. Thanks to DAV, now I feel like I'm human again.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
E.T. weeknights at 6:30 on News 3 Now.
My guests on For the Record, Mary Ann Drescher, the president and CEO of Attic Angel Community, Amy Nickles, who is the chairman of the board, current chairman of the board, and Abbi Kruse, who is the executive director of the Playing Field, this year's recipient of the resources, the fundraiser, Life is a Playground. And I was just looking at the list of sponsors, Mary Ann, and it's just kind of cool. The Wisconsin State Journal, 1839. Gallagher Tent and Awning, 1880. Findorf, of course, 1890. Unity Point Meritor, Smart Motors, Kesnick, Summit Credit Union, Chocolate Shop, Culver's, and then Burka Fond du Lac, all of these businesses that are kind of part of the foundation of Madison. It's a great relationship.
They've all been part of building what Madison is, this wonderful community that we live in today.
Yeah.
And so I'm so happy that they were willing to join us in this endeavor.
What is possible for the playing field in terms of growth? What will these resources help you do?
So, two things. We're going to be able to repair our infant toddler play area that was badly damaged by rain and erosion.
Another victim of the storms we had, yeah?
Not just the storms, but some issues we had with draining.
Okay.
So we're going to be able to repair that and actually make a really nice space for babies and toddlers. I mean, when people think about homelessness, often they're not thinking about infants and toddlers, but a very nice place where they can relax and be with teachers and play. But we're also looking to build kind of a sensory playground similar to the space that we have indoors, where children can play successfully and meet some of the needs that they have when they have had additional trauma. There's some things that we want to include in our play area that we don't have, and so we're looking to expand that as well.
We're really lucky. I mean, research is really helping us understand better how we can positively impact these kids. Life is a playground, open to everybody. Everybody's invited, Mary Ann. How can people participate?
Well, just come to Attic Angel campus, 8301 Old Sauk Road.
On July
28th, from 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock. As I mentioned, there's some things that are time-specific, like the magic shows and the UW band, but other things will be happening throughout that entire 3-hour time. Ice cream, of course. You scream, we scream.
July.
Exactly. So just many options for people of all ages.
Is it a ticketed event? How's money raised?
We are just asking for donations.
Okay.
So it's free admission. You don't have to worry about a thing that way, but if they're moved by what we're able to do for the playing field and see that that's something of value for the community, but they may want to make a donation. And you can make a donation online as well.
Yeah, I wanted to emphasize that. If people can't come to the event, is there a place on the website that they can go?
There is. Just, again, atticangel.org, and then there's a 130 event, or make a donation, and then that's one of the options, is the 130.
I read somewhere about a little bit of an expansion of Attic Angel's work in senior living. Talk about that. Is it in Sun Prairie, am I right?
Yes, yes. So we recognize that there's a lot of people. We're so blessed with incredible staff, knowledgeable, dedicated people, and we recognize that we don't have the resources to keep on building more and more places. So maybe another way to expand our wingspan, so to speak, is to provide management services for other organizations who are already built but could benefit from some of the experience that we have. So we started a management services company, and one of our places is in Sun Prairie. And so we've seen a wonderful growth in that organization, that facility.
Must be kind of fun to be president of the board during a period of growth.
Absolutely, yes. We've had lots of decisions to make.
Yeah.
And we have a very flexible board, which is nice.
Good board, yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
I've had the good fortune of speaking at Attic Angel community a couple of times over the years. And it's, for people who, I mean, just driving by it, it's an impressive area. But to get in there a little bit and see the vitality of the living there, it's an amazing place.
And that's really something that distinguishes us, I think, is the volunteers, absolutely. Most nonprofits need some type of volunteer assistance, but our volunteers are also the members that they made a commitment. Many of them have been with us for 10, 20, 30, 40, 6 people have been with us for 50 years as a volunteer. So they have this vitality that they bring, and then that's also for the residents. And we recognize the strength and the wisdom and benefit of the residents' knowledge also, and we welcome that. Many of the residents volunteer for other residents. So it's built on a fabric of giving back.
This may seem obvious after 130 years, Mary Ann, but the budget is sound. I mean, fundraising is a never-ending concern for nonprofits. I get it. But you're in pretty good shape?
Again, we've done very well with very generous benefactors, people who have saw fit to include us in their wills and plan giving.
A tribute to
and then, of course, investing that wisely, and so that we have some resources that we can help do things in the community.
Yeah. So when does the process begin in identifying the 2020 recipient?
Well, that will begin in April of 2020.
Yeah.
Goodness, that's just around the corner.
I mean, our organization's sort of constantly reaching out to you and asking how the process works.
A little bit. Many of them, again, we only started keeping track since, I think, in 1984. So we've given like $7.2 million, and just dollars, let alone the volunteer effort behind it, but just dollars to the community organizations. And I don't remember, I think the list is a couple hundred organizations that we have given to. And many of them know us, and they are, especially with the work with children, those organizations make sure that they know what our focus is and see if there's something that we can connect with.
Yeah. Well, congratulations to all of you. Abby, I think it's really cool that the Playing Field is this year's recipient.
Thanks.
I hope it's very, very successful. And,
I'm really grateful.
And I invite people to just go to the website, check out what Attic Angel is today on their 130th birthday, and make sure to take a look at Life as a Playground and either attend the event or help contribute to the fundraising effort. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
We're going to come back and wrap up For the Record right after this.
MG&E, building a community energy company for the future through the power of working together, committed to cleaner, more sustainable energy, driven by innovation, fostered by shared values. Energy2030together.com.
Not just a sedan, it's a Subaru. The 2019 Subaru Legacy 2.5i, now at Don Miller. Built to last, the Legacy 2.5i with so many standard features. Lineartronic 6-speed automatic, symmetrical all-wheel drive, EyeSight driver assist technology. Lease from $229 per month plus tax, 42 months, 10,000 miles per year, $1929 new at signing, no security deposit. Don Miller Subaru, west on Odana, or the East Side store on High Crossing Boulevard, Madison.
Don Miller.
When you try the new Tempur-Pedic Breeze, you'll feel how it helps you sleep cooler. So no more nocturnal baking or polar ice cap air conditioner mode. Because the Tempur-Pedic Breeze transfers heat away from your body. So you sleep cool all night long. Experience the superior cooling comfort of the Tempur-Pedic Breeze today.
Right now, shop Tempur-Pedic at Denver Mattress and get 6 years no interest financing. Denver Mattress, the easiest way to get the right mattress.
You can see the smoke coming up.
1 year ago, downtown Sun Prairie was rocked by an explosion. Wednesday, News 3 Now presents a full day of coverage. See how this local community has become Sun Prairie stronger. Only on News 3 Now.
MG&E, building a community energy company for the future through the power of working together, committed to cleaner, more sustainable energy, driven by innovation, fostered by shared values. Energy2030together.com.
My thanks to Mary Ann Drescher, Amy Nickles, and Abbi Kruse, and to you for joining us. We'll see you next week on For the Record.